Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Arina for everybody who's here for the first time, and welcome. Welcome. There was a long time no see, but finally I am here with you talking in front of a camera. As you've probably seen, I tried posting some shorts and implementing new type of videos onto my channel. Let me know in the comment section if you liked it or not, and if yes, I'll continue moving in that type of videos too, rather than just posting like a long horizontal videos. So welcome back to my channel, and as you can see, today's topic of the video is going to be about presentations. This is something that I've learned through my very first practical course in university, and I thought that it would be really useful to share it with you, and also this information might be useful for everyone. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about like everything that we've covered in the course, but I'm going to talk about the main topics and also add something from myself to it, some tips and advice that you can use while making your presentations. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment if you like my channel or if you just want to say something nice, and let's get started. As I usually do in such videos where I'm going to just talk or like talk too much, I always present some kind of agenda, the plan for today's video. And today we're going to divide our video into basically three parts. First is preparation, second is making a presentation itself, and third is presenting. Each part is worth reviewing, worth seeing, and worth remembering these tips, because this is what really helped me to get through this subject. I actually got 96%. Yeah, that wasn't very hard to achieve, but still the tips are really good and might be relevant for most of you. So listen carefully and remember those. Let's start talking about preparation. Basically, what I mean by preparation is preparing yourself to do the research, to do the presentation itself. So basically, what you need to do is define the topic, and the best way to do it is just brainstorming ideas. I know this sounds really like broad and like a term that everyone is using nowadays, but really talking about ideas and just throwing them at your group mates is what helps. And also a really good thing too if you're doing an individual presentation, because when you're like brainstorming ideas, you can see what you've got and analyze every and each one of them, and eventually choose the one that is going to be the most relevant to you and that you're gonna like be more proficient on or something like that. So really focus on ideas, focus on brainstorming ideas, focus on talking, not just sitting there like waiting for the idea to come up. Really talk about it, like explain your choice, why this topic, and choose the most relevant one. Also, other thing that I wanted to cover about preparation is make a plan, a clear structure of what you're going to do in the next like couple of weeks, that you like have to prepare the presentation for. And also an important detail, start this preparation part like at least, 2 weeks before the presentation, because this part actually takes some time. I think for our team it took like 1 or 2 days to figure out what we're going to do and like to create a structured plan of the actions that we are gonna do. So just know and remember in the back of your head that this also takes time, and it's better that you start earlier than later. Now I'm going to actually focus on making the presentation, how to do it, what you should like watch out for, which tips you should use here. And first things first, stick to your plan. Stick to the plan that you created. Stick to its steps. Don't like rush forwards. Don't skip any steps. If you've written them up, then they're important and you need to follow them. Or if there is a step that your teacher or lecturer wrote you, also make sure to include those steps in your personal plan, because these steps might be relevant and might be important if the teacher like highlighted them in the plan that they provided you. So first things first, stick to your plan and don't like try to cheat in some way and skip some steps because they're maybe irrelevant. Believe me, most of the steps that you are going to include in your plan are relevant and important, and they make a really good presentation. Basically, what you should include in this plan is, first of all, research. Do a really nice research, analyze articles, websites, I don't know, maybe some books, newspapers, everything that you think might be relevant for your topic. And what's also important, don't just read it all to yourself and try to remember. You will never remember everything. Take notes. Either copy this text to the Word document, or I don't know, take handwritten notes, or any other possible way of writing down the information. This is important because then the next task that you need to do is to choose what is relevant of all the things that you found already. So, and it's obviously will be a lot easier if you have all the information written up in some kind of a list or just like blocks of information. You will see what's important and what's really relevant for your presentation, because it's also important that we have a limited time. We don't have like all day to present our topic. So it's really important to focus on the key points, on the most important things that should be remembered. Not just some kind of interesting facts. Well, that's also something you should include, but mostly the most important relevant information. This is what you should use. And the most efficient way to find it is to write down everything you found and choose what's the most interesting, what's the most important, what's the most relevant, and so on. The next important point of making a presentation is to make yourself some notes and a plan for your speech. In other words, keywords. Write down the keywords. Now I'll explain you why this is important. Most of the people tend to skip it because like it's not that important, I can improvise, yada 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 yada. But there is always a but. We have a time frame that we need to stick to. For example, when I was presenting, I had only like 7 minutes per person, and I had like a lot to talk about actually, but I couldn't because I have a 7-minute time frame and I need to stick to it. Otherwise, I have a like minus in my marks, which is not good. Or sometimes it's just not polite because other people then have less time to speak if you speak too much. So if you have a time frame, this is what really helps. And also it helps you to make your speech structured, not just, some points from everything and anything, but a really structured speech that is understandable from the start and to the end. One really important thing that I learned from that course is that your slides must be helpful to you, and they must not be distracting to the audience. Here will be some examples of distracting and not distracting slides, and basically what's important about distractions of the slides is to use animations so people don't read ahead and don't just sit there and like, okay, I'm bored, I already read all that you're telling me, I know this stuff, let's get continued. And also a really important thing is to use diagrams because they create a more structured overview of what you're talking about. And also the important thing that I personally learned, that you need to use less pictures. Like Your slide shouldn't be fulfilled like with colorful pictures and so on, because this is what distracts the audience from the actual thought, from the goal of your presentation, from your speech basically. So if you use a picture, it must be relevant, and you must highlight people's attention on it, but then get the attention back to you and what you're talking about. So if you use pictures, use them with caution, because sometimes having a lot of visual may be distracting for the audience and they will not be able to follow what you're saying. Another really important thing about slides is paying attention to colors and font size. Usually the font, like the size of the font that is less than 20, usually it is not visible. Obviously it depends on the type of font you're using, but still pay attention to this, because if you're, for example, in a big ceremony hall where people are like 20 rows far from the screen itself, and the screen is fairly small, then pay attention to your font size and also to the colors. So it's not like yellow on yellow or white on yellow. You need your text to be readable and understandable to every and each one of the people who is sitting there in the audience and listening to you. 2 last tips for making a presentation is, first of all, including a Q&A session. And by that, I mean a time-framed Q&A session. Because sometimes if your topic is really interesting, people may come up with a lot of questions, and this Q&A sessions may last even for 20 minutes long. So it is important to frame the time. For instance, guys, now we have time for a 10-minute Q&A session. You may ask your questions now and I'll answer them. So just define the time frame so people will know how much time they have to ask a question. And that actually also helps you to stop the people. It actually saves you if you don't know the answer to the question, because you just can say, okay, I'll answer you later because now our Q&A session is over. So make sure you really told the audience about the time frame, because otherwise Q&A sessions may take a lot of time, which you could spend on telling more information. Also prepare extra slides for Q&A sessions, because sometimes there are really obvious questions that people might ask and you may want to prepare for it, and it would be really good and professionally looking if somebody asked you what's the price? You're like, okay, I have a slide for that. Let's move to them, and this would be really professional looking. And the last tip is practice, and again, practice. I don't know what to add with this tip because it's really obvious one, but really important one too. Practice a lot and you'll be fine. Now we're off to the part where you're presenting. You're standing in front of the audience, in front of the full hall of people waiting for your speech. And you're obviously nervous. And you know what's the most important thing not to do? Don't show anybody that you're nervous. You need to appear as confident as possible, as calm as possible. Because if you're confident, if you're calm, if you're talking understandably, if you're really giving your message to people, they're gonna listen to you. If you're gonna rush, be nervous, sweaty, shaky hands and show it to everyone, nobody's gonna actually listen to you, and nobody's gonna buy your product or think about your idea whatsoever. I don't know what's the goal of your presentation, but still you need to be confident. And now I'm going to talk to you about how to make you at least visually confident about what you're going to talk about. First things first, a firm stand is what's important. Do not walk around a lot, because it makes you feel like you're not sure about what you're talking about. Also, don't talk when you walk or, well, basically do not deliver an important message when you walk. So when you cross the room, or I don't know, changing sides to point to the other part of presentation, you might say like transitional phrases like, now we're moving on to the next point I'm going to talk about is, and so on and so forth. So you're not delivering important numbers or any else kind of information while you're moving, because it's really distracts people and they are not following what you're saying, they're just following your movements. So do not walk while you talk, and try walking like the least amount of walking that you can do is going to be the perfect amount. So you just might want to stand firmly and deliver the presentation. Also, it is important to talk slowly and understandably. Do not rush, because if you're going to rush, you're going to have this pauses like and so on, which is actually not really good for delivering a big presentations and for like basically deliver any kind of presentations. So make sure that you do not rush, that you talk calmly, and that you look confident, standing firmly, and do not walking while you're talking. When you ask people rhetorical questions, make sure you really give them time to think about them and to process them. Don't be afraid of silence, because sometimes silence is important. And an important tip and a cool tip that our teacher, our lecturer told us, like, everybody always asks, how do I know that the silence has been enough? You should stay quiet after the rhetorical question until you feel really awkward, like you're dying from the silence. Then this is enough. I don't think I know how much it lasts. I think when I was given a presentation, it lasted for 5 to 7 seconds, but it was really enough for people to think about what I asked them. Sometimes these questions need to audience needs to give an answer, like to raise a hand or to say yes or no, but really give the audience time to answer your question or at least to think about it. And don't be afraid of silence. Really don't be afraid of silence. Also, there is two important techniques that you need to use on your presentation. First is a stage triangle. You start at the top of the triangle at the center of the audience with a black screen, so the image does not reflect on your face from the beamer. You start with a black screen in the center. Then you're going right to the desk, to the white thing, I don't really know how it's called, where your presentation is projecting on, and you start talking about something. Then you move to the other side, talking about this side of presentation. If you need to move again, you move again, and talking about all the sides of presentations. And when you end your presentation or your part, you move to the point where you started, you turn on the black screen, and you give a word to your to your colleague, classmate, or you end the presentation. This is a really important thing, because this is what keeps you on track and the thing that prevents you from walking too much, from side to side. Also, other important topic is technique, actually not topic, is 3T, touch, turn, talk. I think maybe you guys heard of it somewhere. It's basically the technique that doesn't require you to remember what's actually on a presentation. That's why on the presentation you only need key points, and basically this works like that. You touch the screen. I don't have a screen light here, but I'm going to show you. You touch the screen and looking there with your eyes. While you're touching, you're reading the text, then you turn and then you talk. This is really highlights to the audience what you're going to talk about now, and also gives you a possibility to read ahead and to remember what you were going to talk about. So this is a really important thing, and this is a really helpful thing actually, because it helped me not once during that presentation, because I really didn't remember everything I was going to talk about. So touch, turn, and talk is a really important thing to remember and a really helpful thing. Try it next time when you will be presenting. It really helps, truly. And this is it. I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. I hope this video was useful for you, and I hope that you find these tips helpful in future or even now. Write in the comments what you think about that, what you think about those tips. Maybe you have your tips that you want to share with us, and please use the comment section to do that. Also, I'm waiting for your feedback about the short type of videos. If you like them, also write it in the comments. If you don't, then also write it. I'll consider everybody's opinion. And thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next videos. Love you all. Bye bye.